Hi, are you excited that Sora, the new video generator, is available this week? I certainly was, but my excitement didn't last very long. Watch to find out why. So, what we're going to uncover today is who is Sora actually available to? What do the plans look like? So, what does it cost? And is it competitive versus the plans from some of the competitors, for example, Runway? And then finally, is it actually any better? Does it live up to the promise of being the best video generator on the market? So, is it available? Well, this is where my disappointment comes in. It's not available in EU countries. And maybe you could think, well, that's just because they're doing a slow rollout with the US first, so they're prioritizing the most important countries. But this is not what this is about. Look at the list here of which countries Sora is actually available in. Well, you have small countries in Central or South America. You have very small European countries like, for example, Albania. So the thing is here, this is about regulation. And look at what Sam Altman actually says here when he is commenting on X. So he is saying that they wanted to release in the EU, but they were not able to do it because of upcoming EU regulations on AI. And he even goes on to say that this means that some products will be delayed and other products will not be launched at all. So I think this is actually a really critical point and one that makes me wonder whether EU will just continue to trip over themselves and will block companies wanting to use AI from actually being at the cutting edge. So I think this is a pretty good example that this might continue to happen. And I think the impact will just be to accelerate this development we're seeing where the EU are going to lag behind financially compared to, for example, the US or to China. So now let's look at the two models that OpenAI are offering for using Sora. So Sora and ChatGPT, they're bundled together in one. So when you buy a ChatGPT package, you get Sora on top, you could say. So the current Plus users who are paying $20 a month will actually get a pretty decent availability on Sora. So they can make up to 50 movies a month, which I think is pretty good. It's 1,000 credits. I think it's slightly disappointing to see that only 5 seconds will be available. There are some ways to get around that, and we will see that in the upcoming examples. And then another slight disappointment, I think, is that the resolution is only 720, which we also know from many of the competitors, like, for example, Runway. On the Pro plan, there's pretty much unlimited access. You can make as many videos as you want, at least if you have a little bit of patience. And also the resolution is actually 1080, so full HD. So it looks like the Pro plan is pretty capable. The challenge is, of course, that the Pro plan is $200 a month. So I don't think a lot of personal users and like one-man companies are actually going to invest in that unless they work professionally with AI and video generation. But I do understand the point here. So if we compare the plans to, for example, Runway, which I think has been the gold standard in video generation so far, even though there are some really good competitors out there, then if you're a casual user, then it makes sense to go with Sora, because look at these plans here. If we look at the Runway packages here and compare them to the Sora packages, we are seeing that the standard package for Runway is $12 a month, but you actually have to commit for a year to get those $12. Otherwise, we're much closer to the $20. And also, if you want ChatGPT anyway, I think it's kind of a no-brainer to combine the ChatGPT Plus version with having Sora. So I think if the video generation is better than Runway, then it's pretty much a no-brainer to choose the Plus version of ChatGPT rather than going with the standard version of Runway. And if you are a pro, I guess the difference between paying $100 or $200 a month, which is the difference between Runway and ChatGPT, and I guess you would need ChatGPT anyway. I mean, it's not that big, so it would scare most companies away. So I do think that OpenAI are actually quite smart in the way that they price this, and I do think that the segment who need to do professional video and who really are dependent on ChatGPT, they're going to go for the pro version. I think that content creators will stick probably with the plus version. But I do see it as a stronger offering than what Runway is offering. If you look at the number of videos you can actually create, you can create more with the Sora Plus plan, or at least slightly more than you can with the Runway standard plan. And the pro plans, they're both unlimited. So it's pretty much the same. So I think it all comes down to which generator actually does the best video. And let's take a look at some examples. This example from Sora looks quite impressive at first glance. The lighting, the shapes, and the overall atmosphere feel rich and creative. However, when you look more closely, you realize it's also very abstract. Because it's so abstract, it's hard to tell if it's actually working the way it's supposed to. You don't see people or objects moving as you might expect in a more realistic scenario. Now let's take a look at some examples from Marques Brownlee's excellent review, which I'll share a link to in the comments. In these clips, Sora's limitations become clear. For instance, when showing ducks or a hockey game, the animals and players don't move as naturally as you'd expect. Look at this imaginary tech reviewer, looks impressive. But you see strange details, like a phone appearing out of nowhere. The way animals walk also doesn't look entirely real. Sora is still impressive, but these examples highlight that it still has some big challenges. The big question is Sora actually better than Runway 3? Let's see some examples from Runway to judge. Taking a look at these Runway 3 examples from creators like Cyborg Nation 3026, Creatificial Imaginations, and the Dor Brothers, it does seem more impressive at first glance. But let's be fair, Runway 3 has been around longer, giving its community plenty of time to experiment, refine their techniques, and showcase their best work. Sora, by contrast, is still quite new, and only a handful of people have had the chance to try it. Because of that, we're not really seeing its full potential yet. As more creators get their hands on Sora, we might see even more amazing results in the future. For now, take some time to enjoy these early masterpieces and imagine what could be coming next. My own conclusion here is it's pretty hard to say at this point. I think it doesn't look like Sora is leaps and bounds ahead of the competition. I think it looks pretty solid, potentially slightly better than Runway, but I think only time will tell, because one thing would be the demos, another thing would be when you're actually working with the tool yourself.